amazing, dude.
Thanks. I like to play.
Spoilers ahead.
Hello everybody and welcome to Cinemattraction. I'm Heat Guy Jay and as with me as always is Cold to the Bone.
John.
Today we are going to be doing two movies, musical movies, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, one of them isn't actually a musical, but they are both musically based.
I'd say they're both musicals.
By Damien,
How
would
you say it, Jason?
Was it like Chazelle?
Chazelle.
Chazelle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What were you going to say?
Sharface. Sorry. No, it's just some of these names. No, like sometimes I
It's
don't
easy
know
to
how
get
to.
confused.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
easy to
how
get confused.
to say some people's names.
I mean, no disrespect.
No, of course not.
So, what have you been watching recently?
Recently, I saw a film with my nephew called Killer Bean
Right,
Forever.
I saw it on your letterbox, and I wondered what the hell is that?
Yeah, it's well. This is the way my nephew sold it to me.
What
I
is
want you
Killer
to-
Bean? Is it a series? Is it a
No, it's a film. It's an 85-minute.
right? It's not based on anything, is what I'm saying.
Don't
It's not.
think
okay.
so. I don't think. But
like
there is going to be a video game coming out of it.
Okay,
So there is a trailer for a video game
It's
coming
not
out.
because I don't know.
Well, this is how he sold it. This is how he sold it to me.
I only just learned about Peppa Pig the other day. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I want you to watch a film with me. It's by one of the special effects people on The Matrix. So I'm
Wow,
thinking
okay.
John Gator. This is great. No, Jeff Liu, who
not sure
apparently
who that
worked
is.
on just on The Matrix Reloaded.
It's like when you see when the credits go up on those Marvel films, and you see this endless block of names for
Yes.
the special effects people.
Yeah.
And they're all they're doing is just like, oh, he worked on this scene for the particles.
Exactly.
He worked,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Was he one of those?
He could have been. I mean, all I can say is this film is it's set in a coffee bean realm where everything is coffee beans.
Great.
The people are. And Killer Bean is like an assassin. And it's just the most weirdest 85 minutes to watch. And it's violent, but yet still somehow like made for all the family. Because there's no swearing, there's no,
Plenty of violence.
There's violence, but it's not like bloody violence. It's just like silly violence. Like the beans get shot and then they sort of ragdoll to the floor and they don't move anymore. And it's sort of like that.
That sounds terrible.
And I also revisited the James Brown film, Get On Up.
Okay. Are you a James Brown fan, Jason?
I am. Yeah, I do. I love.
Every day, all the time.
Do you know, that's
just
my-
quote James Brown.
I literally do. It's my go-to.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Don't think that hasn't been noticed.
No, yeah, it totally is my go-to, and recently Action Bronson has become my spirit animal.
No, so he's sort of
He's crept his way in.
right. He's slowly usurping him.
Yeah, I heard him on a video saying, "I feel like I've got bionic taste right now," and I was just like, "This is why I love him."
Action Bronson is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been watching?
Nothing really. I've been watching Category 3 films this week.
Okay,
So-
we're not going to talk about them, so we're just going to move on from that stuff because people don't want to hear about that.
Category 3 films. Tommy Yao, Anthony Wong. I watched the Ebola Syndrome, and I've watched The Untold Story.
Right.
Which are amazing.
Yeah.
And I love Anthony Wong. Anthony Wong is like one of my favourite actors.
I didn't know that you'd watched that, but I was like, I don't want to watch a film about Ebola.
Right. I don't think you would enjoy that film anyway. Category 3 is like we had like the BBFC rating system
Yes.
over here, so you get like the PG,
Yeah.
the 15, and the 18, and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It was brought in during sort of the advent of the VHS boom of the 80s.
Right.
Loads of people were seeing some really messed up films.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And they
had to
weren't-
put an
they weren't
certification
certified.
to it.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's what happened over here, but in the like early to mid 80s. But in Hong Kong, this was going on.
Right.
And I think it's like the late 80s, early 90s. They brought in this kind of category system. So category 3 is where the party started. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. This is stuff that's gonna keep me up at
it's so
night,
good.
isn't it?
I'm obsessed with category 3. It's so good. The worst one because I've been involved. I've been interested in this for years. And I've been sort of collecting DVDs and Blu-rays over the years. So I've only just managed to get like a really good Blu-ray of Ebola Syndrome, which is really, really good. And The Untold Story as well, which is on both on 88 films.
These are horrors though, are they? Sort of?
You couldn't classify them any further.
Okay, no, it's just I've heard people on YouTube saying that like horror fans are the biggest, purchasers of physical media.
Probably, yeah.
They are literally keeping physical media afloat.
The worst one I've seen is a film called Men Behind the Sun, and it's almost unwatchable. It's horrendous. It's, for all intents and purposes, a Chinese propaganda war film, right? Where they have focusing on this like thing between them and Japan. There's real life autopsy footage in it. Oh, and the filmmaker has said the cat was okay. But there's a cat that gets absolutely ripped to pieces by a load of rats and rips a load of rats. It's really messed up. Oh, dear. So go watch your Category 3.
Or don't go and watch.
Yeah, I can't recommend Men Behind the Sun, but any collaboration between Herman Yao and Anthony Wong is just my jam. It's so good. Anyway, Whiplash is a psychological drama written and directed by Damien
Chazelle.
There we are. So ambitious.
Sorry about the pause there.
Ambitious young jazz drummer Andrew Neiman enters the prestigious Schaefer Conservatory in New York City. Determined and driven, Andrew knows that he will need to work hard and take every opportunity. His family don't really seem to understand his ambitions, though his father does somewhat support him. To an extent, I suppose.
He's got a good dad.
What are your opening thoughts on
Well, I just want to say,
Please.
Can I say, I'm jazzed about talking about this movie. Since I watched Whiplash, I've realised I really like orchestra jazz.
Right.
I really do. I've been listening to it on Spotify. It's so...
Buddy Rich.
It's so
Charlie
good.
Hunnam. Yeah,
because I always used to think jazz was sort of that slow... I think sometimes you've got a stereotype of what jazz is.
Sure.
So I do agree that like...
Heroin music.
Yeah, like somebody would say that how can you not like jazz? There must be a certain type of jazz that you're going to like,
sure.
I think.
Yeah.
And this movie is music pushed to its limits. Where should I start?
Please.
I mean, I like the beginning, how the drum beat starts to build up at the beginning as you sort of go into the movie.
Sure.
I like the Beastie Boys song Sabotage that says about Buddy Rich.
Sure.
Did you know that? You just mentioned Buddy Rich.
Indeed.
Yeah. No, the opening of the film is slow, but I really like the sort of the build up and the sort of tension when J.K. Simmons comes in.
Yeah, we're going through bit by bit, but I think it really the opening really sets Andrew very nicely up. You kind of
seeing his dad and him get the cinema and stuff like that together.
Yeah. He's very young and he's driven and he's ambitious and he wants to become the next big thing, if you will. At this point, this is probably Andrew at his most likeable and relatable.
Yeah, because I do find that the character's not really he's not a very nice character, really.
At the end, no.
No.
Even when he has... Well, we'll get into that. But I don't think he's even the nicest character at the very end of it.
I don't think this film really has nice characters in it.
Well, I think so. Andrew meets Nicole at this point.
Okay, yes, she's about the only nice.
She's probably the nicest
and his
character.
dad.
Yeah. Nicole is a movie theatre worker
Supergirl.
person. She's a Supergirl.
Yes, Supergirl from the TV show.
And they briefly date. And they get pizza. The pizza looks terrible.
It looks horrible, doesn't it? Yeah.
She's really sweet. Where Andrew feels where Andrew later feels the force of Fletcher's obsession, Nicole ultimately feels the force of Andrew's, I would say.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Andrew is introduced to Mr. Fletcher.
Oh, Mr. Fletcher.
Played by...
J.K. Simmons. Sorry, Simmons. I only said that.
The conductor of the esteemed Schaefer Conservatory Studio Band. Fletcher winds up recruiting Andrew as an alternate, or backup, I suppose, for lead drummer Carl Tanner. Fletcher's personality is established very quickly. Fletcher is a relentless, temperamental, ultra-strict, ruthlessly manipulative and reprehensibly abusive leader.
Yes, a master manipulator, yeah.
And I would say that J.K. Simmons plays this unchecked scumbag searching for perfection to perfection.
Yes.
Was he nominated for this?
I think he either got nominated or he got BAFTA for this.
well earned.
Not an Oscar though.
Heck of a
Sadly.
performance.
It's a fantastic.
Even though I
performance.
hate the character, this is a heck of a performance.
Yeah, I mean, I like J.K. Simmons anyway, so I'll see him in anything.
We'll watch him in most
so
things.
I'll watch him most
for
things.
sure.
So,
I believe Damien Chazelle was a jazz drummer in his youth and was taught by a strict music teacher, which may have influenced or had some sort of influence on the character of Fletcher. I think Chazelle is drawing to some degree from experience in this movie.
Right.
It obviously didn't go the way that, but I mean, he's drawing from some experiences in this movie.
What I like about Fletcher is that he gets friendly. And he puts on that really nice face to begin with, and he asks Andrew about his family and
He's
all
a
this.
manipulator.
So he's taking all that information to throw back, the same way as he throws back all the information at them when they're doing the relentless drumming. Mm-hmm. He's throwing back stuff that he's learned about each drummer back at them.
Yeah, absolutely.
To abuse. Well, he's trying to make them perfect by abusing them. I think. Is it? It's just push them to their limits.
Indeed. Andrew gets the chance to play within the ensemble during a practice of Hank Levy's Whiplash, to which Fletcher slings a chair at him for failing to maintain the correct, or at least Fletcher's desired tempo. He even slaps him around a bit and verbally berates him. Fletcher is awful in every way, but this inspires Andrew, and it would also appear, also the other members of the band, to work harder in order to impress Fletcher and to get to that level, if that makes sense, and to meet his lofty expectations. Andrew obsessively begins to sort of sink into his art.
Yeah. It looks really hard playing the drums.
Yeah, he's got blisters on his hands, isn't he?
I mean,
blisters on my fingers!
When I watch him playing the drums like that, I'm just like, oh my God, that looks so exhausting.
I don't think it's always him. I don't think it's always Miles Teller, though, is it?
No. Well, no, I don't think. I mean,
And
can Miles Teller play the drums like that?
I think I read on IMDb that he's out of time. He's out of sync with the actual hitting of the drums, and some you can actually see him not really doing it.
Right.
But the overlay of the drum sound is perfect where he is not, kind of thing.
Okay.
I think that's really funny. So that section is a bit intense.
Yes, it's very intense. Can I just say that drummer, one of the alternate ones, what was the name of the red-headed guy? He looked so out of place as a...
Well, the other one?
Yeah, as a
Ryan something or other?
Yeah, as a jazz drummer.
Sure.
He looked really out of place. He looked like he belonged on a football field.
Right.
Playing American football. He didn't look like he would be into jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the other people looked... Yeah, because all the other people looked like they could be into it, but he just looked a bit... He was a bit too sort of buff and... Yeah.
Well, it takes all sorts, to be fair.
I suppose, but I mean, you imagine somebody who's quite buff being in like a rock band,
Being a linebacker.
Yeah, being a linebacker and then joining a rock band.
So are you inspired now to play drums?
I'm not. Not in the... No.
You're a heck of a bassist, though, right? Have you ever learned, like, jazz bassisms?
No, I haven't, to be honest. I was thinking I might do, to be honest, after...
You have double bass?
I'd love to have a double bass instead of playing the guitar, but I mean, I tell you what, if playing the bass guitar was as exhausting as what he's doing in this film, Andrew's doing in this film, I'd just be like, no.
Yeah.
I don't need to lose extra pounds.
The atmosphere and the mood kind of changes at this point, I'd say. And Fletcher is all wound up and he cuts loose by abusing his band members.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for it, and the ripple effects are just as detrimental overall.
Well, we find out about that, don't we?
We do.
Yes.
We'll get onto that. So, at a jazz competition interlude in between sets, I don't know what you call it. I don't really go to many jazz competitions.
No, neither do I.
Andrew loses Tanner's music, or sheet music.
Yes.
Binder thingy. And this is a big deal because Tanner really relies on it. And so Andrew winds up replacing him for the next set, as he has this piece memorised. He has the next piece memorised. Andrew is prompted, though only temporarily, as Fletcher replaces Andrew for another drummer named Ryan.
Yeah.
Who is lower on the pecking order and perhaps a weaker talent. I think this is at this point where the lesser aspects of Andrew's determination drive sort of begin to creep in. Where he was somewhat awkward, and everyone's awkward and relatable by that means. He's now downright rude and aloof to everybody, and he dumps Nicole.
He's got a crystal ball. And he could see exactly what was going to happen.
He believes that she's going to hold him back.
Yes.
Which is... Yeah,
Well, that's just
it's just awful at this point.
That's a person's brain telling them it's a fact, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing.
Right.
Your brain interprets what your brain tells you as fact.
Right, but
So if your brain tells you people don't like me, you think people don't like you. You see what I mean?
He's so enveloped into this world, but he can't see how lovely Nicole would enrich him.
No.
Yeah.
She would only take away, apparently. So, in his opinion, so...
Yeah. I think this film and La La Land share that theme of the dedicated and perhaps tortured artist.
Yeah.
Andrew is absolutely all in on his artistic craft, where I think La La Land, Mia struggles as an actress / writer, and Seb is determined to be this sort of mega jazz pianist, and to open a jazz club. I suspect the sort of struggling, dedicated artist is key to Damien Chazelle's sensibilities. I think he probably lives by that. It is also around this point where Andrew, Tanner and Connolly endure a 5-hour practice session with the song Caravan, with Fletcher demanding that they play at a very demanding and ridiculously fast tempo.
I don't know what that tempo. I don't. I couldn't play anything at that.
5 hours of playing that 2-minute song or something.
Oh God.
At wild tempos.
It really is excruciating to watch because it is torture. It is a form of torture. Yeah.
And Fletcher's kind of acting out something else. At the same time. Andrew ultimately earns his place back as the lead core drummer at this point. Fletcher understands that Andrew is the best drummer of the group.
Yes, and
he's determined to really put him through the ringer.
Yeah, he wants to make him like his apprentice sort of thing, isn't it? That he's sort of
He understands that he's there, but he really does need to be pushed. So he pushes him.
He keeps making that comparison to the somebody bird or birdie,
something like that. Yeah.
You know. I
don't
don't know
that
the history of
musicians.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But Fletcher is struggling with his own personal life and a conflict with the consequences of his methods, which are cyclical by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Really don't like Fletcher, but he's so charismatic. So Andrew has completely lost the plot and entered a terrible rabbit hole by this stage. En route to the next competition, Andrew's bus breaks down, so he rents a car. This is kind of where this film kind of loses me, actually. Right. So he rents a car and arrives late without his drumsticks, and Fletcher allows him to go back and grab them, but he suffers a horrible car accident in the process. Andrew pulls himself out of the wreck and attends the concert, all covered in blood, and he proceeds to play, but struggles with the complex arrangements of Caravan. So Fletcher pulls him out, and Andrew has a right old go at him.
Yeah.
Escalation and release. This is the point I've not really... It kind of lost me in the movie, to be honest.
The thing is, whenever I watch this scene, I always think, if you just had a car accident, you're not going to be thinking about a jazz competition.
No.
Because you're going to be in shock.
Yeah.
You're not going to crawl out the car and, run, and then think, I'm going to play an instrument for however long, 10, 20 minutes. No. But I think it is there just to try and say that he's so determined. Literally, sure. If his legs get cut off, he'll drag himself by his hands to wherever it is,
If his arms fall off, he'll just hit the drums.
I think it's there for that. He'll just go to the edge and beyond.
Right. Yeah, I get it. It's just such a convoluted turn of events. That
it's not very realistic.
In comparison to the other bits, this just feels like such a...
And I think if you have an accident like that and like a truck's involved and everything, you can't just leave the scene of it.
I don't.
I think that's a crime.
I believe that is.
Yeah. So, but we don't hear anything about that, do we?
No, for the rest of that, This is the bit that I love the movie, but this is the bit that loses me. I kind of switch off at this point, to be honest, mentally. Andrew is expelled, and his father meets the lawyer representing the family of Sean Casey, who's the former student of Fletcher, whom Fletcher had claimed had died in a car accident.
Yes.
But though it is revealed that Casey had actually hung himself due to the depression and anxieties caused by Fletcher's relentless abuse.
PTSD, isn't it?
Sure,
PTSD,
yeah, exactly. Casey wants Fletcher to be held responsible, and Andrew secretly testifies, which sees Fletcher leaving Schaefer. Sometime later, Andrew finds Fletcher working in a jazz club. The pair have a nice little drink, and Fletcher admits that his horrendous teaching methods, were extreme.
Yeah.
But suggests that such methods can be necessary to draw the greatness out of the subject, citing Charlie Parker as an example.
That's it. And he said, well, I gave it my all and I tried.
Yeah.
And
Still manipulative as hell, though.
well, yeah.
Fletcher invites Andrew to help perform with his new band at a jazz festival, stating that they'll be playing a familiar set list.
Yeah.
So Andrew is in a better place, away from Fletcher's tyranny. He's burned all of the bridges, but he still has his father on his side. He tries to contact Nicole, but she's already with somebody else.
Well, it's too late. You missed the boat.
Indeed.
That train has left the station.
Yeah. However, before the show, Fletcher confronts Andrew, stating that he knows exactly that Andrew had testified against him, that the band begin to play, but it's a song that Andrew doesn't know, and he doesn't have the sheet music for it. So Fletcher takes great delight at Andrew's humiliation.
Upswing Blues, isn't it? Something, upswing something?
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, sorry, jazz listeners. But he returns to lead the band himself in a rendition of Caravan. He just comes in and just starts hitting Caravan. Against Fletcher's intentions. But while Fletcher is furious, he soon works with Andrew. Because he can kind of, actually, this guy's...
Yeah.
Yeah. Conducting the rest of the band to sort of follow Andrew's performance.
It's kind of a musical fight, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Master and the Apprentice are finally aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that
because they
last
start
20 minutes.
swearing at each other and saying awful things to each other, and then all of a sudden, you could see they're sort of coming together.
Indeed.
And
so it's Master and Apprentice.
Yeah.
And he's finally at that point where Fletcher was driving him.
yes.
And that last 15, 20 minutes where they're just going through Caravan is the most incredible 15.
It's brilliant. Especially as it, just when it just suddenly ended, and, you see J.K. Simmons and it's sort of going, and then it just goes straight to him and he's...
Yeah,
that's
there's also that little. There's my favourite bit is the little glance with between the two with the eyes.
Yeah,
you don't see this. You just see the eyes. Just this little real tight close up of J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller's eyes. You don't see the smile, but you see their eyes just light up and they link, and it's just the most
brilliant,
beautiful piece.
And after and after that huge performance, I would have actually liked it that the credits didn't actually have any music.
Why?
Silent afterwards.
What, you couldn't top that?
No, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So just have it silent. That gives you that sort of feeling, that impact of the end of it, and then the silence adds to.
Yeah. You're just sitting in silence.
It's like the end of the Radiohead song, Just.
Okay.
If you don't listen to anything after you just listen to that song,
right,
you feel the impact of the silence after what you've just that wall of sound that's hitting you. You're just like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that silence just gives you time to take in what you just. Wow,
your
brain just heard.
Just kicks you in the backside, doesn't it? Yeah, just leaves you for dead.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I would have done at the end of that film. I mean, that's just a critique. I would have just had it quiet, but...
So what are your overall thoughts on Whiplash?
I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
As we spoke about, the car accident scene is unrealistic.
It just kills me at that point. It just loses me.
Well, yeah, because it's unrealistic that the shock would stop it, like we've spoken about already. So.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you could make the case that he's just running on adrenaline and just going through all this.
But other than that, I think it's a very good film.
It's a lot of fun.
I own the film. I like the film. I watch it every so often. Sometimes when I can't think of a film to watch,
bang on Whiplash.
Because I don't know what I'm in the mood for, and I think this is a good film that you don't really have to be in the mood for anything.
Sure.
To watch.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the performances?
Obviously, J.K. Simmons is
amazing.
Chef's kiss, beautiful, fantastic. I love to see him in anything.
I love to see him in this, but I hate that character.
He has a lovely smile
Horrible
as well.
character. Oh God, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has
a
a
lovely smile again in Whiplash, in La La Land as well.
Oh yeah, which is quite sort of jarring when you see him in La La Land compared to how he is in Whiplash, because you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a bit of a scumbag in La La Land.
I think in La La Land he reprises his role as Fletcher in that, doesn't he?
I guess he does. Owner of a jazz club in this one.
Yeah, but a nice Fletcher.
Nice Fletcher. Well, yeah, he still has to let... we'll talk about that in a moment. We're getting maybe sidelined. What do you think of Miles Teller? Because this is the first time I'd seen Miles Teller or anything.
I think this is the first time I'd seen him in anything. Was he in the Fantastic Four film before
He
this?
was Mr. Fantastic.
Before this?
No, I think this came after that.
Oh, this came after that?
Whiplash came before Fantastic Four.
Then no, I don't think so.
Right.
No.
You don't really see him in much nowadays, do you?
Not really.
He had a little spell where he was in everything.
Because he was in Top Gun, the latest one,
He
Maverick.
was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. He was quite good in that, actually.
He's not really one of my favourite actors, to be honest. But I think he's very good in the role.
In the right role. It's like
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
In the right role, he's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, Jesse Eisenberg.
We're not putting down your...
It's the most backhanded compliment.
Yeah, we're not putting down your Lex Luthor role.
It's terrible as Lex Luthor. My verdict is that it's big. I just have that. My only problem with the movie is that little apex bit where he has the car crash.
Yeah.
Because it's so convoluted, it's so silly, and everything else is just spike of the tone, if that makes sense. But I suppose you need that big event, and you do get to understand Andrew's obsession and what's led him to do all that.
Yeah.
It just kind of loses me. The last 15 minutes in that performance is just amazing.
As I said, I've through this film, I've found that I have a love for this, this orchestra type jazz.
Yeah. On that note, I found that I have a love for La La Land. La La Land is a romantic musical drama written and directed by Damien Chazelle. So even I struggle with that. It's a hot, sunny day, and on an LA road, jazz pianist Sebastian is stuck in a big old traffic jam with fellow motorist, an aspiring actress named Mia. A big old song and dance erupts on the road, full of colour. The mood switches, though, when Seb, irritated by the traffic jam, directs his annoyances at Mia. The opening song and dance and the subsequent road rage incident between Seb and Mia neatly establishes the tone, as well as the relative sensibilities of our leads. What do you think of the opening?
I hated it. I hated it. It was like...
Love it.
Is it like In the Heights or
Sure,
or West Side Story?
Sure,
or
yeah.
That kind of thing. I don't like that sort of thing.
Okay.
It's not. I'm no fun.
Right.
I don't like people dancing on car rooftops and stuff like that.
Not in real life. That's really dangerous. I love in movies.
I think there's a lot of times with musicals, I don't like the songs also in the musicals. So that obviously...
You're really going to struggle with this film then.
do you remember when we went to cinema to see this? Not to see this, but we were seeing it at the time this was released. We went to see Split.
Sure.
And there was all those old bags all living their best life, going in the cinema to see it and getting all excited.
We should have seen this as well at the same time. We should have seen Split and then going to see this.
That should have, yeah. What could you have called it?
Just hanging out with the old bags.
La Split? No, trying to put it together, like...
What are you talking about?
Barbenheimer,
Barbenheimer.
Yeah, it's not really.
So the opening scene is...
No.
I absolutely loved him. So Mia finishes another lazy day at a lousy coffee shop day job and goes for an audition where the casting director takes a phone call during an emotional moment. Mia returns home and her housemates take her along to a fancy pants Hollywood party, suggesting that somebody at the party will spot her and launch her acting career. But it doesn't really work out that way, and the car gets towed.
Yes.
This is a great sequence because we get to understand Mia and her sensibilities and her struggle, all the struggles that she endures with her ambitions of becoming an actress. Mm-hmm. She's surrounded by friends who absolutely love her and want to see her succeed, which is great. Love the little number around the house before they when they're at the party, I guess. Meanwhile, Seb is playing a gig at J.K. Simmons' restaurant. Seb slips into a little jazz improv against J.K.'s wishes. Does he have a character name? I can't remember the character name of J.K.'s.
No, I don't think so. I think he's Fletcher.
He's just Fletcher.
I think he's Fletcher. I think he's alternate universe musical Fletcher.
So he slips into a little jazz improv against presumably against J.K.'s tempo.
He's supposed to be there.
He's supposed to be doing Christmas songs.
It's Christmas songs, yeah.
Indeed. Mia happens to overhear Seb playing when passing by. I love that mural on the wall.
Right.
And chooses to enter the restaurant or club or whatever it is to watch. Though she happens to see Seb being fired as a consequence of this improv. Furious and frustrated, Seb storms out just as Mia is sort of trying to compliment him and approach him. Love this sequence in which we get to understand Seb's sensibilities. He wants to be a big old jazz musician, but it's kind of slumming it. I suppose you have to slum it to some extent. He understands the power of jazz and is willing to risk it all to share it. Mia gets it and winds up being moved and motivated to enter the restaurant, I suppose. Though unfortunately it all comes at a cost. Seb, as we have already seen with his behaviour on the road rage incident, has a bit of a temper when he's jarred and frustrated. Flash forward, Mia happens to run into Seb at a big old party when he's playing in a terrible 80s cover band.
Oh, with a guitar. He did look cool, though.
She recognises him and he recognises her.
Because he looks so cool.
And he visibly cringes. She makes a request at this for the band to play "I Ran" by Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah. Oh, I love that song.
Which makes Seb cringe a little bit even more. He's there to pay the bills. Yeah. After the terrible gig, Mia and Seb walked to their cars together, lamenting the wasted night, I suppose. In the iconic poster song and dance number.
Yes.
They are very, very, very sad, frustrated, adrift souls. You're absolutely beginning to sort of entwine. There's a connection there. So the dance number against the sunset over LA is absolutely superb, in my opinion. It looks like it's on green screen. No, but it's not, is it?
I don't know.
Okay. Love the chemistry between Gosling.
I don't like this scene.
Okay, well, I love the chemistry. I think even if you don't particularly like the song and dance number, you could probably see that there's a real chemistry between Gosling and
Do you
Stone.
think so?
Do you not think so?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. No.
Why not? What do you think about it?
I just didn't feel like he had like the chemistry with her like he has done in other films,
With
like
McAdams, whatever her name is.
Yeah, like it just doesn't. He doesn't have the same like.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, fair dues.
I've seen him with more chemistry. That's what I was going to say.
With Harrison
it's not
Ford.
The strong. Yeah, even with Harrison Ford. Yeah, even with Harrison Ford, I would say that he's had a lot more chemistry with other actors, but it's all right. Their performances are all right together. I wouldn't have put them together though. I really wouldn't have put Emma Stone in this film.
It wasn't originally going to be her though, was it? It was going to be Hermione. I can't remember her name.
Was it?
Emma.
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
Emma.
Watson.
Watson, yeah.
Okay, it was supposed to be her originally, but she ducked out and Emma Stone came in.
See, I'm not the biggest fan of Emma Stone.
Okay, I think she's really good here.
I'm not saying she's a bad actress. I just I don't know. Like when she's doing the acting in the acting bit, I'm like, well, of course you can act really well. You're an actress.
Right, yeah, I see what you're saying.
You see what I mean? Like, It's like acting Inception, isn't it? You know, an actor acting. You know,
trying their best to act when you know that they're actor anyway.
Yeah, when you know they're a really good actor.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
I mean, regardless of whether I'm a fan of Emma Stone or not, I do think she is a good actor. So
the thing about that though is that I feel in this movie I think really sets this movie apart is the fact that the song and dance numbers are a little bit off to me. The singing's always off. The dancing always seems to be a bit off.
Yes.
I like that. I love that kind of realness
about it, yeah.
For want of a better term.
I think
how kind of... I'm not a professional. I don't, but I can see that it's a bit janky.
It's very janky. Don't you find, like, they're doing the 1950s waltz around, right? And they're even doing all the goofy musical stuff where they're doing the tapping of the feet and sitting down, all the stupid stuff, right? But then the phone rings.
All these kind of flourishes.
Yeah, then the cell phone rings.
Sure.
And you're like, but that's not... You're taking me away from that 50s Hollywood... That's what they're trying to present with this film. We're trying to present like a 50s sort of musical...
But nowadays.
The
phone probably would go off.
Okay. But also... problem with the ending as well. So
we'll get into that in a moment. I just the imperfections, as slight as they are, feel so earnest to me. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I think I'm glad that they didn't use actors that actually are singers.
Right. Oh God, yeah. Ryan Gosling can't sing for toffee, can he?
Right, but what I'm saying is I'm glad they didn't do that because it makes it more real.
Yeah, I love that earnestness. I love the jankiness of it all.
I think I would have liked Lady Gaga in this role, though.
Sure. Well, you could put Lady Gaga into anything, I suppose.
Yeah,
she would just elevate it to the next level.
I have a feeling I would have loved this film if maybe I had more interest in the actress, whether I liked the actress a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. Because, for me, Ryan Gosling, I will watch most things with Ryan Gosling in because I find him quite charismatic and I enjoy, seeing him in stuff.
Sure.
So I think if it had been somebody that I'd...
He's usually in movies that play to his strengths. I don't think he's the best actor, personally.
I like that he does all this stuff, though.
Sure.
Because he's really trying to put it out there and dance and sing. And
good for him.
Yeah.
So, Seb visits Mia at the coffee shop in which she works, and she sort of winds up showing him around the iconic Warner Brothers backlot. with all manner of productions taking place. Mia explains her love for acting, and Seb, conversely, takes Mia out on a date to a jazz club, or to a jazz club, where he explains his love for jazz and his ambitions of opening a jazz club.
Because she doesn't like jazz.
She doesn't like jazz. She doesn't really get it.
Yeah.
But he gets it, and he's trying to sort of give that gift to the world. So Seb invites Mia out to see Rebel Without a Cause, which she accepts, completely forgetting that she already has plans to go out for dinner.
That's right, yeah.
With her boring boyfriend Greg. Mia is bored to tears at the dinner and winds up walking out and going to the theatre. The screening is already underway, so she walks onto the stage in front of the screen in order to pick Seb out of the crowd. The projector then conks out, and the pair travel up to the Griffith Observatory, where they do a big old song and dance among the stars in a sort of technicolor haze. This sort of standing in front of the screen, oblivious to the people in the audience. It suggests that nobody else in the world exists other than Seb and Mia, which I quite like.
Yeah.
It's the same with the Dancing in the Stars as well. So in reality, the date, the wander around Griffith Observatory could have been just a simple wander around with a couple of laughs or something or other, but to Mia and Seb, they are literally walking on air, and I think that's really clear. And dancing through the stars, or dancing through the cosmos.
I do think that bit is silly, though.
Why?
Where they're dancing through the stars.
Why?
Because it's ridiculous. It looks stupid.
But it's like I just said, the reality of the date could have been just a wander around the Griffith Observatory, poking at things and having a laugh. But to them, they're dancing on air.
Because I was just watching it thinking, people enjoy this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
How do they...
Do you not get that feeling, though?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
All right. So there are, in my opinion, there are very few films that sort of encapsulate that romantic rush, that hazy kind of romantic rush, better than this film.
Okay. I don't think I've ever felt that romantic rush.
Oh, my poor soul.
If that's how it feels, I don't think I've ever...
Right, okay. So they move in with each other,
yes.
and Mia begins to sort of write a one-woman play. So if you can't get the work, you go get the work, if that makes sense. While Seb performs regularly at a jazz club, Seb's former bandmate Keith enters the picture and invites Seb to be his keyboardist in his lousy jazz fusion band.
Yeah, John Legend drops in to do a music video.
He does. It's a good little turn, actually, from John Legend.
I really like his character in this, though. John Legend.
Sure, okay. Go on.
Because I like how motivated he is. And the thing is, what I like is that Seb actually could have been really rich if he'd followed his friend. That he actually, he badmouths his friend as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, Keith, he badmouths him and then he wants to perform with him.
Yes. Because it's a consistent paycheck. That's
right. So he's telling Mia, like, I don't like this guy. And then he's like, and if he'd stayed with Keith and the band, the jazz fusion band, he would have been huge.
But he wasn't doing work that he wanted to do.
No, I know. But you know what I think the problem was? It was when he came into contact with that photographer.
Well, that obnoxious, was he British photographer?
Horrible. He reminded me a bit of my dad.
Okay.
But
well, he's kind of led into taking the position because he overhears Mia talking to her mum about Seb's career.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's going to make it one day, he's going to open a club and all that kind of stuff. So he's kind of motivated to maybe do something. He really has absolutely... That music is awful. That jazz fusion music
it's horrible, isn't it?
Awful. Like, why would you want... You're a jazz musician. You want to play
I know.
this
John Legend's
trash.
really... His songs are good. We're just ordinary people.
John Legend's fantastic.
All that stuff, yeah.
The band is successful, but it isn't really what Seb wants to be doing with his life. So I understand.
Yeah. But what does he want to be doing with his life?
He wants to open a jazz club and have a lovely life with Mia.
Oh, right, okay.
But he's doing this and going out on tour and doing all the rest of it to put some money...
Well, yeah, that's why they start rowing, isn't it? Because he's like, I've got to keep working.
He has to keep working, but at the same time, like, Mia's already saying to his mother, he'll do it, he'll succeed. This is his way of doing it. So he has to endure this trash before getting to do the actual things that he wants to do.
Yeah, but if you think about it, that's a bit weird, really, isn't it? Because
it's compromise.
Yeah, but it's weird because, like, usually somebody would rather be a huge star first than have to go and play in, like, the local pub or bar. He doesn't want to be a huge star with Keith and this band, right?
He's really committed to his jazz, his work, his obsession and his love for this jazz.
But he wants to own a jazz thing, which is not very, You know, that's usually what you could do after you were a big star. Do you see what I mean?
Or he really wants to invest his life into jazz. He didn't really give a damn about this popularity.
But Mia wanted to be a big star.
Yeah, she's an aspiring actress.
Yeah.
And to to be a successful actress, you wind up being you wind up being a big star.
Yeah, and you have to be a big star to get the roles as well.
Indeed.
So.
It sets up that this particular bit sets up the theme of compromise, and Mia can't really catch a break, so she tries to create one. Whereas Seb catches a break, but it's not really the one that he wants. If that makes sense.
Yes, but I still think a lot of this is to do with Keith, because he's a bit like a sort of puppet master in the background, isn't he?
Well,
I thought
he's the leader of the band that Seb makes a ton of money with.
But I mean, this is supposed to be a musical, yet you get a whole performance, like a live performance from
you get a John Legend performance.
Yeah, you get a John Legend performance, not a musical number. Do you know what I mean with him?
You get a stage performance.
Yeah, you get a stage performance like in a concert, which I thought was weird, and also I thought that
why is it weird?
Well, just because it's. Well, I thought this was supposed to be a musical, but like a proper musical. I thought it was supposed to be.
See, you wanted that bit to be more of a dreamy musical rather than an actual stage performance.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred something like that. And also, I found that halfway through the film, it just felt like there was no music at all. There was no numbers, no.
Sure, yeah. This is kind of the low point where they kind of need to.
I thought Damien Chazelle was trying to make a modern musical, but do it like a Hollywood proper.
So you wanted every line to be sung, kind of thing.
No, because I hate that in musicals. But I would like if there's gonna, maybe a musical might have maybe 7 or 8 songs in it.
Right.
Over the period of it, how many songs does this film have?
I couldn't tell you how many songs.
Because there's only one I can think of, and it's that repetitive Sea of Stars or something.
Sure, it's their theme, isn't it?
It's too repetitive. It goes all the way through the bloody movie. It's like, oh, really? Have I got to hear that tinkling away again? That same repetitive little thing?
Okay, you might.
I do have a problem with that, and that's just me, because, when we did the podcast and I spoke about the Carly Simon song in Heartburn.
Yes.
And I was like, oh no, they're going to use it all the way through.
Sure.
I don't like that. If Star Wars had the Star Wars theme all the way through it, I'd be like, yes, that's enough. That's enough, sharp.
I think that was your criticism of The Third Man as well, with the repetitive.
Yes, that. That, I don't know what it is. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's fair enough. Do you think that by showing the big elaborate shiny musical performance with John Lennon, I was going to say John Lennon, the resurrection of John Lennon, it would have been better, and it would have been way more interesting if it were this big old song and dance, dreamy song and dance. But do you think that the kind of mechanical nature of the stage performance, this kind of post-stage performance, kind of shows the kind of why Seb doesn't really like it?
Possibly. Yeah, because otherwise maybe we'd be watching it and thinking, well, why doesn't he want to be in this band? It looks,
because it's so mechanical and boring.
Yeah. No, I just think that if they wanted to make a modern day musical, try and make it like a proper musical and have, then the things wouldn't look so stupid, like dancing through the air. Because
I think those are really strong. I think there's such really powerful pieces, really, really powerful.
I just don't like too much reality with fantasy, because if you drop too much fantasy, I just think if you drop too much reality into fantasy, for me, I drop off. So I go, right, okay, I'm going into realism mode now.
Right.
And I can't buy this anymore because you're taking me out of the fantasy. That's just my opinion.
Fine.
Sorry.
Anyway, during the tour, Seb and Mia have an argument. Mia is critical of Seb for abandoning his ambitions and sort of selling out, I guess.
That's a horrible argument, really, they haven't it?
Well, he sort of replies with that she kind of liked him more when he was broke, basically, when he was nobody. Both sides are pretty true. Pretty even, so to said. Good points from either side.
It's a bit of a stinging argument.
Makes sense. It's a proper argument. Both sides are actually.
I think that's probably why it hurts them both, because it's so matter of fact.
So later, Seb misses Mia's play because of a photo shoot thingy with your dad.
He was horrible, wasn't he?
Completely forgotten about. Yeah.
What happened with that man? What happened with that man being cast? I mean, did Damien Chazelle or the casting person just go like, yeah, okay, you'll do. This guy waltzes in like my dad. Drunk off a couple of cans of Holston pills.
Right.
And
shout out to Hugh.
He was one of my favourite characters of this film, though.
Oh God, because he's so horrible.
Yeah, and I like the way he was like, give us a smile, and then like his lips disappeared.
Yeah. He's
And he
so
was like,
uncomfortable.
and he made Ryan Gosling pull those horrible faces.
those stupid expressions.
Yeah.
Yeah. The play is a bit of a failure, unfortunately, and Mia is crushed to pieces by some bad feedback that she overhears, or comments that she overhears. This sort of turn of events causes Mia to break up with Seb, and she moves back home to Boulder City, Nevada, which is a cool name. America has some very cool names, doesn't it? We have Leicester. They have Death Valley.
Yeah, exactly.
This is sort of the low point of the movie. The wildly saturated colour palette is sort of more grounded and neutral from this point on. So, Seb takes a call from a big-time casting director who was one of the few people to attend Mia's play, and he sort of winds up inviting her to audition for a big film. So Seb travels to Boulder City, which is a very cool name, and persuades Mia to take the audition. Mia is gradually, because she's very against it at first, Mia is asked to tell a story. So she sings about how her tragic aunt, who was a big time she was in Paris, an actress in Paris who sort of really struggled with booze, who ultimately inspired her to follow her dreams. Seb and Mia both get a little bit more dimension to their characters, I feel, in this. During this sequence, Seb really does believe in Mia, and he owes Mia, and makes the long trip to sort of push her into taking the audition, to actually take the right direction. And Mia winds up sort of opening up about her motivation. I think Emma Stone is terrific in the sequence.
It's all right. Yeah, I didn't really like the song. I'm not into musicals.
Okay. So fast forward 5 years. Mia is a big time actress, and she's married to Man.
Oh, I don't like that man.
They have a daughter. What do you not like about them?
About that man?
Yeah.
That man is the man from Hannibal series, isn't it?
I've never watched Animal.
Man from Hannibal series. I don't care about him.
Right. Okay.
I like him.
What does she see in him?
What, when there's Ryan Gosling?
When there's actual Ryan Gosling running around honking his horn at people.
Yeah.
Oh. The couple wind up at a jazz bar, sporting a very familiar logo, which is the one that she had designed for Seb.
Yes.
With
the note in it.
With the little note. Sure enough, Seb has made it. Seb begins to play their theme, which you hate, when he notices her. Seb's bar is really colourful, lots of rich violets and blues and purples and reds. The colour splash kind of returns here, I would say.
And then we also
when they're sort of reunited.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then you find out about they do a speed up, don't they, of what their life could have been like.
There's like a dreamy sequence plays out in which they kind of where
is in mine?
I think it's his.
Yeah,
it might be
mine.
shared.
Right.
Where
of what it could have been.
Of what it could have been, and literally leading up to that point where they take the other road up. And
that's
they
right. Yeah, a bit like sliding doors, isn't it?
Kinda,
the path not taken.
Do you think it's both of them, or do you think it's just him? Do you think it's just her, or I think it's both.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, when they were sort of looking at each other.
Yeah,
maybe. I just think it's a really sad ending. It's realistic.
It's bittersweet.
It's realistic, but I think it's ridiculous because this is supposed to be a musical fantasy. Don't leave me with a bummer ending. Give me a happy ending.
They don't. Yeah,
she goes off with Man.
They both got what they want.
Yeah, I know.
They're just not with each other.
And then but they're not really, really happy. So
well, you would argue that she is. And you would argue you would argue that Seb has got what he wants.
I suppose, yeah.
with Man,
yeah. But you saw that they could have had children together and had a fantastic life.
Beautiful Ryan Gosling children.
She could have given up her acting career. He could have still had his jazz bar, and that is how we did it in the old days, baby.
But I don't know. You're saying it should have been like an old-fashioned one, but I like this kind of modern spin.
I like it when love rules over everything. I do. I'm a romantic, and I like love wins out, and I like a happy ending. And I just felt really sad that I think that would have actually made me even give this maybe even 3 stars if I'd had a nice ending where I could have gone, oh, that's nice.
I like the ending. I like the ups and downs that they have. I
don't like bittersweet. I don't like bittersweet things.
Okay.
Yeah, I either find things bitter or sweet. Okay.
So what are your overall thoughts of La La Land?
I found when I originally watched, like the beginning of it, I thought, oh God, it's going to be like this all the way through, dancing on
not at all.
And that really, I was thinking that this is going to be like 2.5 hours, But
It's gonna be a
it
hard
was,
watch.
it wasn't a hard watch.
No,
It
not
was
at all.
okay to watch. And I liked Ryan Gosling in it. And I thought some of the bits, as I said, I think a bit dorky and...
Right, that's just your preference.
Yeah,
But
it's
do you
just-
recognise? Do you see
I can
that
see,
it was actually
I
quite?
can see people could like it. Yeah,
Sure, you
people. I don't think it's probably the best musical because I think if you want a really modern day musical that's really good for a recommendation, I would say Greatest Showman
Right. Okay. Yeah.
because Hugh Jackman is fantastic in that, and the songs are good. The songs in there are actually really good.
Sure.
So
I think these are very different types of musicals.
Very
The Great Showman
different.
And this. Have you seen West Side Story? Spielberg's.
no,
No. Started watching it. Couldn't.
okay.
Really, not my cup of tea.
I think it's just I found it slightly jarring the fact it sort of slipped into a drama bit, and I sort of get used to being in that bit, and then then it goes into music again, and you're kind of like, oh, okay. I was sort of gone it. Like I said about Kill Bill, you're watching the anime bit, and then all of a sudden you go back to live action. You're like, oh, okay, oh
Don't
yeah,
like
because
those sharp twists.
I was just
with tone.
I'd sort of got used to watching animation for a bit.
I absolutely loved it. The musical numbers, the production design, the colour, the editing choices again. He's knows where to cut and.
I mean, it's a beautifully made film. Don't get me wrong; it's a beautifully made film, and I don't know. I mean, I've heard of many men that like this film. I mean, I know it's got a huge female audience because you could see.
It's got a huge audience.
Yeah,
I'd say
but there is also a huge male audience to it as well.
I'm certainly a fan of this.
Yeah.
It really swept me off my feet. There's a wonderful sort of I love the wonderful bittersweet ending.
I think with me, probably if we'd done like Greatest Showman, I would probably be
Will you
saying
put these two together?
possibly you could have. I don't know though. I mean, no, I think they're better the way we did it.
Right.
Because we've got one that is kind of a musical but not a musical, and then the other one actually is supposed to be,
it's
a
more
musical
of a musical.
drama sort of thing.
Indeed.
So-
I personally love the two leads. I think they're both really strong performances. The only thing I'd say maybe is that the characters are really insufferable at times.
Yeah. Sometimes.
When they're at their lowest, they're really
As I said about
insufferable.
that thing where they cause like stinging each other with the facts,
But they're pretty honest.
It's honest,
and you
but
understand their
it's
points.
very hurtful. You know what I mean? You can
Sure,
you can
maybe a bit
try and
unnecessary.
because you can do things in a kind of way and try and soften
Kid gloves.
soften the blow of what you want to say without actually stinging somebody, because bluntness does sting people.
Sure.
I can be quite blunt sometimes, and I don't mean
I
to
hadn't
be.
noticed.
But I don't mean to be. That's the difference. I'm not doing it to be rude or offensive. Sometimes it just comes out like that. So, but yeah, no, I think that.
I think that's universal for everybody.
Yeah. So.
Indeed. No, I loved it. Really recommend it. Couldn't recommend it high enough. Have you seen First Man or Babylon?
I've seen First Man.
Okay, what did you think?
The one about
we're
Armstrong.
never going to do an episode on.
It's really boring.
First Man. Not my cup of tea.
Really
either.
boring.
Found it really, really dull.
Yeah, really dull,
Over
really
such
boring.
an interesting and
Yeah.
fascinating character.
And it was not. No.
Who was literally the first man on the moon.
Yeah.
Who achieved the
Done in a
thing of
very
things.
uninteresting,
Yeah,
boring
so
way.
So.
I mean, you haven't got to put a lot of stuff in that isn't true.
Have you seen Babylon yet?
No.
I think you'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it about like debauchery and
There's
stuff
a
like
good
that?
amount of debauchery.
Okay, yeah, because it looks like that kind of film. So I'm like, yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, Margot Robbie's fantastic in that.
I love seeing that kind of thing.
Join us again. For episode 41, well, we'll be discussing Die Hard and the Taking of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, boy! For all you out there that have never seen The Taking of Beverly Hills, well, you're going to have a real treat next week because Ken Wall. That's all I'm going to say. Just you Google Ken Wall. I believe
Right.
it's WHAL, is it? Wall?
AHL, I think.
AH. Yeah, possibly. Sorry, I think I'm a little bit dyslexic.
That's perfectly fine. It's Saturday, don't worry. So it's Die Hard and a Die Hard rip-off, basically.
Yes, but they both have Robert Davi in
They
them.
both have Robert the Great. I met Robert Davi once.
You said he was gorgeous and wonderful. That's not what you said.
Did I say that?
No, you didn't.
Because I don't think that
You
was the
said he
reality
was
of
horrible.
He was really hard to talk to.
Yeah.
He's a really big lad. He's
Yeah.
quite a big, physically imposing lad with his horrible face.
Yeah, it's a skin failure.
Skin failure. You mean this man's skin failure? Oof. So I was like, I had to sort of try and coax a conversation out of him.
Right.
And it was like, pleased to meet you, and I really love your work, really quite pleasant. And he was having none of it.
So he was just like, yes.
Yeah, it was one of those autograph,
Yeah.
the celebrity zoo things that we go to.
Yeah.
So went to shake his hand, and he's got the
Bigger hands than Rutger
biggest-
Hauer had?
Oh God, the massive pillow hands, right? Huge hands. So I went to shake his hands. I was like, "Oh, you got really big hands," and he just sort of looked at me for a minute and sort of said,
He laughed at it.
He laughed at me, complimenting him on his giant hands. So you can find us on Letterboxd. I'm
Yes.
Rat Bastard.
I am Kerja_Relon.
How's that spelled?
KERJA_RELON.
Find us on Instagram.
Yes, Cinemattraction_podcast. We'll be keeping you abreast of all our podcasts we'll be doing. So keep in touch.
Be excellent to each other.
If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you've got any ideas, maybe what films we should pair up
give
together.
us some recommendations.
Yeah, give us some recommendations because we're always open to feedback.
Wouldn't you love to see us do an episode on Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz?
Yes. It's just because that's what film you've watched latest. That's why, isn't it?
No, I wanted to do an episode on it.
you
So that's
did?
yeah. I watched Shaun of the Dead the other day, and I watched Hot Fuzz yesterday, thinking like, we could totally do an episode on this. But maybe in the future we'll do an episode on those two. So
We need to do the whole Cornetto trilogy.
we can do the whole trilogy. if you
Yeah.
want. I think a couple of, with the exception of Shaun of the Dead, our
Right.
listeners are going to love us talking about this. Everything else is on like Disney or something like that. So
Right, okay.
yeah. Okay, lady, bye bye.
Nah. See you later, boy.
I should probably tell you something now, just to get it out of the way. I hate jazz.